I'm Rob Boyer. I'm the service liaison for Alliance. I'm also a owner of a 370. Been with the company for about a year. I've had my coach for 2 years. I went to school, had a mobile tech business, master certified technician, and some other things. Okay, so that's a little bit about me. I travel full time in our coach with Yvonne. Have anybody seen her run around the hall over there? My better half by a lot. Married up. We both were in the Air Force and retired from that. And now that's what we get to do, is hang out with you awesome people, my family, right? And do this. So I will turn over my partner over here, Todd.
I'm Todd Burks. I've been with Alliance now for just a couple months. I came off a 15-year career being in law enforcement here in Elkhart County. I live here in Elkhart and I work out of the Elkhart office. I'm one of the customer service managers.
Okay, so there's our contact info up there just in case you need it. You can always, that's my number you can text me at if you have an issue. By the way, before you start taking notes, taking pictures, these slides will be available on our owners forum, okay? With the notes. Okay? What's that? It's true of mine. I don't know. I'm not sure what materials all the people made available to it, but I think going forward, because this is our first time here at this venue, we're going to try to make a resource where it's like, here's the stuff that happened at the rally, right? So you don't have to kind of take all those notes. So I did this in mind because last year we have one of our allies, Etchley's, he did this presentation for us. A little of the bones, if you were here last year, some of the bones of that presentation is in this, right? And so we just kind of polished it up a little bit. And that's, a lot of people said, hey, can I have that presentation in the notes? So I did that with this in mind. So I kind of expanded the comments. So we'll touch on what we have a conversation about and then the content that's in the notes, and you guys can refresh from there. Okay, so who's new to RVing? Whose coach is just like this year? Their first coach is okay. So we have some veterans in here. So have some people, this is their first coach. A lot of questions about hey, how do I take care of it? We're pretty familiar with how to take care of your house, and those other things, but it's like an RV, your car, we've grown up with them. We don't grow up with an RV, especially a fifth wheel typically. We do the tent to the pop-up to the travel trailer to the fifth wheel kind of thing. So they get a little more complicated as we go, right? So our goal today, guys, is just have a discussion, okay? So we're going to provide some information, but we want to just talk about the scheduled periodic maintenance that we recommend and that maybe you guys recommend, things that have worked for you in the past, okay? And we want to have a good time, right? That's the whole point of us being here at this rally.
We're not going to do death by PowerPoint this morning, so we want everybody to be actively engaged with us.
Yeah, it'll be on the background, right? But I want you guys to talk to us. So the whole point is the whole point is to advance the slides. Go this way. Boy, I can't drive straight. Okay, so I'm kind of one of those people always start with why, kind of like Simon Sinek, if you've read those books, why are we here? And why do we want to take care of our coach? So safety is one of those big things. So safety in regards to the running gear, all these things that are going to make sure that the coach is operating correctly. Okay, so checking through some of your, especially towing. So that's a huge topic, and how to do that safely and how your coach reacts. So taking care of the running gear is probably one of the primary things that we want to talk about, and kind of why it's important. Protect your investment. So did anybody get get these for free? I mean, we love you, right?
What's wrong with that?
I mean, we've sold things to our family before, right? And they're like, well, you're just going to give it to me, right? Yeah, you got a raffle ticket. It's we're giving away a 2023, Come out down here and see us. But so yeah, we've all invested a lot of money into these, right? And I know Todd talks to people every day about, we hear this line a lot. I spent $100,000 on this, shouldn't happen, right? Has anybody heard that one? Or used that one?
I hear it every day.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like the leading line, and we understand that. You know, I spent a lot of money on that, so we want to protect our investment. Just like our house, we want to take care of it, and obviously we want to increase our enjoyment of these coaches, right? Because it's kind of like a marriage, you know, happy. Okay, so happy coach, happy camping. Kind of thing, right? So that's kind of what we want to do that. So if it feels really good after you like wash your coach and it's all ready to go, right? You're like, where can I take it? You know, I need to get it out of the driveway, right? It's neglect. Okay, I put this up here, neglect is a cruel teacher. You know, it's like, I'll get to it later. Yikes. And that later, it's kind of like when you you open the refrigerator and you break that bottle of mayonnaise or something. It's like, I didn't know 3 o'clock in the morning was the best time to clean my fridge.
Or the floor.
Or the floor. It's like, man, I'm awake now, right? So it's that time of like, hey, when the tire blows out or the suspension, something happens, and you're like, man, if I had only listened to Rob and Todd in the presentation and repack the bearings, it did all stuff. I'm making light of it here, guys, but what I'm really trying to get to the point is taking care of your coach. It'll take care of you, right? So that's the goal. All right, so let's jump in and talk about some of the resources out here. So I've put some of them up here, but there's a whole bunch more, right? So first and foremost, our owner's guide. We call it a guide because it's really all it is, right? We're less than 3-year-old company. We don't have a staff of 50 just making owner's manuals like just tight and with every little option, right? So we try to do our best with kind of putting some information, general information in there, but really the source of a lot of those things is our component manual. So the things like Dexter has a manual on your axles. Awning has thing on your generators. Each thing, just like if you bought something, your car, you got an owner's manual. Well, the car ones are pretty good. I gotta be honest. You do, right? But they also test them for a couple years and have a pretty huge thing. So the owner's guides and component owners manuals, that's really one of your best sources for information. Okay, our guides are online. We don't print them out. That's so we can change them, because as things get updated. Obviously, our RV owners forum. Who's been on our owners forum and not Facebook? That's good. Yeah, anybody? I mean, not everybody knows we have an owners forum, right? But Jim Belletti oversees and runs that. It's a great resource that you have a conversation about things in there. Our Facebook groups. Okay, so we're trying to steer away from like doing service kind of stuff on Facebook. You heard Coley talk about that a little bit at the opening. Really, that's for conversations. And then if you have an issue, reach out to your fellow allies. I mean, we encourage that. But as far as like, hey, this doesn't work, and who do I got to blame? Well, that's probably not what everybody wants to wake up in the morning. They want to see pictures of where you're camping, right? Okay. Fellow allies and other experienced RVers. You don't have to have an alliance to know what you're doing, right? So who's had other campers before? Yeah, okay, exactly. And some of our best resources is that person out there that really has been doing this for a while. And you can tell kind of like right away, do they know what they're doing? But it's surprising. There's sometimes where they've been doing it the wrong way for a long time. It's like, it's like, no, that's not it.
I've been an RV owner for 12 years, and that's probably how I learned the most, is going out, looking at other people, how they do things, and just going up and having a conversation with them. And, you do it a better way than I do. Start doing it that way. So for me, that was how I learned the most.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned all the stuff I need to know about backing up from just sitting and watching them, right?
That's
It's
the best
happy
part.
hour.
To sit there with a beer and watch people back up.
Right. And that's not nerve-wracking at all. Right? It's like you're pulling in, you're like, dang it, I got an audience, I hate this. It's like, next time, book I pull through. Okay. Exactly.
Yeah, no pressure at all.
Okay, another good resource, our dealer service center, mobile RV technicians. Those things, if you have things that you really don't have an idea of how to operate, I mean, that's one of your best sources to initially go to if you're not getting the right answers, obviously. The next thing, or one of these, is to reach out to our service team. Component vendor customer service. So who's got the Lippert Now app on their phone? You do now. So who went to the Lippert school the other day? Or was it? It was on Monday. Yeah, I know. They're running together for me too. I full of time. I usually don't know what day it is, honestly. So that's their customer service on those individual components is a really good resource too. So don't forget that and just skip right to calling us. You know, you may be able to get even a better answer and faster answer, from Lippert, if that's what the issue is. These rallies are a good resource because we do seminars like this. You get to interact and discuss with other owners, right? About, hey, you got a 342, I do, and say, how do you do that? Or, where's that located? Like a booster switch on your wall or something like that. Right, I heard. The internet and YouTube, everything you see there is correct and true. Yeah. Okay, so there is a lot of good information out there, but, take it with a grain of salt, right? I mean, what's the source it's coming from? There's a lot of people that are out there just trying to generate views and generate, likes and things like that just by putting out content. So you'll know the difference between there's some kind of more trusted ones like our channel. Yes, sir. Tom.
Mobile RV techs are just a phenomenal resource
Uh-huh.
nowadays, and it's a really growing industry. Is there any thought to having Alliance certified RV techs? Because
Yeah.
I would prefer to go to somebody that really understands an Alliance RV than
Right.
Others.
Okay, that's a great question. The question was, if you didn't hear it, was talking about having Alliance certified technicians like the mobiles, and I'll cap that a little bit. When you go through school, like if you go through the NRVTA, RVSA, and get your certification, you learn kind of the systems and basics about that. The only way you really kind of learn the product is working on it. Okay. However, that being said, when we partnered with the NRVTA, looking at their curriculum, we feel pretty confident about the certified technicians from those schools working on our products, because at the end of the day, our product is not that complicated. It might feel like that sometimes, right, because of all the stuff. But from a trained technician standpoint, it's really not, it doesn't have a lot of intricate systems, CAN bus communication wires and stuff like that. It's basically wires. We listen to you. We have, switches for everything. Every light kind of has its own switch. Air conditioner has its own thermostat. So in that sense, it's not really needed. However, we do go through a process. We will be working with the technicians that were trained at the NRVTA through RV Technician Association of America, okay? And to say, hey, here's our kind of, if you want to work with us and be Alliance certified on your thing, these are the things that we need you to be able to do. Licensed, certified, insured, and competent. So we are working towards something like that. Yes, sir.
NRVTA is hosting an Alliance-specific
Yep.
course coming up in October, I believe.
I love it when people do the plugs and I don't have to. That's awesome. Yes, we worked with, I worked with Charles Tire. He had that idea, one of our allies, and he said, hey, that'd be great to do the class with just allies. So yeah, we're working on that, making that happen. We're up to like about 38 enrollees so far. So we're getting pretty close to doing that. And really, that's going to be a great week. of RV fundamentals, the same RV fundamentals you would go through if you went to the school at any other time, except there'll be all allies. Bring your coach there. We have the camping set aside. We're going to have t-shirts, different, I'm going to make up maintenance kits for you guys. It's going to be a really fun week of learning. And so hopefully it's an investment in you. So it's not inexpensive, but it's not expensive comparatively to like after you're out of warranty and stuff like that.
Where do we get more information about it?
That's great. See, you guys, I didn't even pay these guys, right? So if you go to our Facebook group and you go over to events, it's like the drop down. Facebook's always changing, or Meta, whatever. Not only changing their name, but changing how they arrange things. I was like, I can't find events. And I'm like, oh, it's in the little drop down menu over here now, okay? Just scroll down. It has all the details about it, how to sign up. And NRVTA is a career college. So you actually have to like talk to a student advisor, provide some kind of transcript or something like that to, do that. I mean, yep. Yeah. So they walk you all through there. But it's going to be a great time. I like this. This is good. Okay. So resources and that we really kind of covered the next one, trade schools. We just talked about that. And the last one here is your senses. Okay. Todd's nodding, ow, it's hot, Yeah, that doesn't look right. My back window's not there anymore. That kind of thing. My tire's going this way, or something like that. Or did that sound? Did you hear that bang? Okay, so those are the things you need to trust your senses and listen to the sounds, because when you get a new RV, especially if you have a washer and dryer, you're like, oh my gosh, is that normal? For these things to shake, I know it's heavy, but is that normal? Is that okay? Yeah, yeah, it is. So, a free massage. Yeah, I just lay on the floor when the dryer's going. It's get that. So, perfect. Okay, exterior. So, has anybody seen this guide that we put out? A few people. Okay, so it's just a little thing. And Todd, you probably hand this out or tell people about it all the time. But really, what this does is it kind of speaks to this the sealant that we use on there. A little bit of tips about cleaning. Our roofs are made out of PVC. They're not EDM or rubber roof. Okay, so it's just actually, this screen is the roof material.
Can I interrupt real quick?
Yes, go ahead.
Found it up right outside here.
Is it yours? Like, thank you. Yeah. So the PVC roof, it's made by Dicor. The material's got a lifetime guarantee on it. So it's not going to fail. Doesn't mean it's not going to get cut. If you go into that campground and a branch, rips the top of it, but it can be repaired. Okay. So that brings me up to like, what should you be doing to your roof as an owner? Anybody? Cleaning it. Inspecting. Yeah, inspecting is one of the biggest things. You want to get up there and, first of all, you need to know what it looks like from the get-go, right? So after you buy your coach, it's like, you get up that ladder, and your spouse is like, I got you. Right? 13 feet's a long way, right? Safety first. Don't go up there in a storm, you can't get slick up there, okay? So I need you to be careful, aware, but the roof is very sturdy, okay? But walk around and look and go, okay, that's where that is. And how many people say, hey, where's that wire chase? And where does it go? It's got the black lid up there, so you have your wine guard up here, you have your air conditioners up there. You look at the condition, because when I first got mine, I found a little tear in it. And I was like, hey, Alliance, what the heck? I paid. And they said, calm down, Mr. Boyer. Okay, so really the same people, has anybody had their floor repaired by CCI or any of those guys? Okay, they did the roof too. It's a pretty straightforward, easy repair. It's been fine. So, but knowing, because if you do have a tear, you know, there is wood right underneath there. Okay, so you need to inspect it periodically. I get up there, you know, quite often. I use a blower. Usually get up there, especially in a campground where there's leaves. And I'm up there with my blower looking around like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, it's 9 in the morning. Yeah, okay, so if you have slide toppers, you know, you're getting all that stuff on there. You're looking at your awnings too. So getting up on the roof, you're looking at the Dicor. That's a self-lap or lap sealant. You're looking for the condition of that. Looking for voids in it. And over time, after about a year, you're going to be like touching it to see if it's really stiff. Then it's time to replace it. But it's conditions has a big effect on our coaches, right?
Yep, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
and as far as the life of those seals, especially that Dicor seals, is going to depend on where you are in the country. If you're down in Florida, southwest all the time, where there's a lot of exposure to heat and UV rays, that is going to break down a little bit quicker.
Oh, absolutely. You had a question, sir? You know what? I don't think we make a specific like patch kit. It's more like depending on the if it's just a tear, it can be like glued and repaired that way. If it's like gone, yeah, I think you could probably patch it with the same material.
Somebody said it's just normal PVC glue and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and you just want to make sure that it's got a good seal, and I'm pretty sure we can send you a piece of it if you need to do a patch. Yeah.
When you check those seals that die for and
Yep.
you need to replace it, do you need to pull the old off or just cover the
Not necessarily. You need to clean it. Okay, denatured alcohol that you can get at a hardware store. Clean it up really well, and you can just put some more over the top of it. Okay. If you go to try to remove it, you could damage your roof. Okay, so I got everybody's like nodding. Some of them are like, "Yes, Rob." Tell them that they don't have to take it off. So yeah, you don't have to put it on there. And if you've never used it before, it just kind of runs. That's what it's supposed to do. Okay, you're like, is it doing that? Is it supposed to do that? Yeah, it's supposed to do that. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, it'll kind of turn gummy a little bit, and you can kind of scrape away. So if it's really bad, but really you're checking the seals in the sides. So you got anything else for that part? Okay. All right. Well, look at this. Going through all stuff. PVC roof cleaning. Cleaning it, guys. You can use something like Fantastic. It's Dawn detergent. I mean, a medium bristle brush to clean it. It's really not that hard to clean. Some places in the country you get like the black spots, stuff like that. So you can do a little bit of spot cleaning, but it cleans up pretty good, and it doesn't really take on that really gnarly looking, thing like some of the rubber roofs. Yeah.
Can you use have a different brand of before the
Uh-huh.
Can you use that same?
Yeah, because it's really a mild detergent type cleaner.
A lot of, gotta have to tell them all that sitting around.
Yeah, just be careful. So if you are cleaning your roof, depending on what you're cleaning it with, if you did have to do a spot and you used a little bleach or something like that, make sure you kind of address that. You don't want it to run over the sides of your coach when you're cleaning it, right? You're like, man, that roof's clean. You get down, you're like, son of a, it's like these streaks. And you're like, is that a new like graphics package you guys came out with? The bleached one. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So, yeah, you want to be careful of that. Rinsing things off of the side of the roof, right? And it going down and damaging your graphics. So that's why we recommend like mild detergents, those kind of things. So
I just use my regular car wash soap, and
yep.
it does well. With these roofs, there's no reason to buy the more expensive RV roof soap. That's not needed.
Yeah, and just like washing the sides. Who got their coach washed out here? A couple? Okay. So what did they do, right? They were out there washing it. Now, if you're using a pressure washer, right, make sure that it's not turned up like high, like woohoo, right? You want it like less than 1200 psi, because you could like grab one of those graphics and tear it off, and you're like, Alliance, why didn't you stick those on better? And you're like, dang, right? I paid $100,000. These graphics should never come off until you need to take them off. You're like, sun faded them, I need to take them off. But yeah, waxing it, checking the sealant along the edges, for voids. I mean, that stuff does need to be, replaced from time to time, especially if you're in an environment that's really bad UV-wise. So that's why we gave you those tubes when you came in at registration. Okay, so depending on which model you have, so we use a MS polymer, and really the benefit of that is it's like it cures a little better, it sticks to itself. Okay, so we've been primarily using that in the throughout the lines, but some of the plants, depending on your build date, it does change. So don't be afraid to use other types of silicone. Just know that you might have to take the other out. Silicone doesn't stick to silicone. Okay, so if you have it, it cleans up nice. If it's starting to turn like light brown and brittle, that's time you need to kind of take it out and reapply a new bead. Get all those skills. You're like, oh wait, what's in that? Dang it! All right. Yes. Yeah.
On the roof, what do you suggest for tar when you're in a campground and they've got the pine trees and they're dripping?
A spot with no trees.
That won't answer me that.
Yeah, you really just have to be up there more often, and tar. Yeah, there's things that just cleaning it off often. You may even, I've seen if you're permanently parked maybe in a place where you have trees like that, I have seen these covers that have an air gap underneath that I've seen put on top of your coach. If it's really bad, if you're just there for the weekend or a week, you should be able to take care of it by just normal cleaning. But if you're parked in a place for a long time, you may need some other kind of thing to keep your roof from getting all that stuff on
I
there.
just wondered if there was something that you could use to take care of those spots when they're up there.
Yeah, you can.
I don't think they come off.
Anybody having?
I've used a little bit of goof off.
Yeah, that works. Yes, sir.
There's a product called California Orange.
Yeah, California orange.
California what?
Orange.
Orange?
Orange.
Not apple, but no.
Orange. Orange.
Yes.
Pro wax.
Pro wax? Wax. Okay.
Have we suggested anything else to that or heard that one? Okay. Your decals, everything on the sidewalls, the same kind of care, and waxing it a couple times a year is really a good idea to help protect it. The slide out seals, we get a lot of questions about that. So you have two types of seals. You have bulb seals on the inside and the outside of the slide, and then you have a swipe seal. Okay, so the bulb seals is when the slide is out, it's pushing against bulb seals on the inner wall to help seal it, right? And when it's in from the outside, when you're traveling, you have bulb seals, you go around and it should compress them a little bit to keep the water out, okay? The swipe seals, that flap that you see, that's another environmental barrier to keep wind, water, things like that out. What I do recommend is when you get set up is to go and make a visual inspection of your coach and make sure the seals are the correct way, okay? I always travel with a ladder, okay, so I can get up there, or if you have a selfie stick with your phone, and you can look up at the top of your slide. If you have slide toppers, it's not as much of a concern with the top one in case it gets a little wrapped, but if you don't have slide toppers and that swipe seal on top of that slide gets kind of, not correct, you could have some water come in, right? Then we're going to get a phone call. It's like, "Why my water's leaking?" Right? And it's like, "Your seal's not," So that's all we, try to check that. Because if those seals are proper, you shouldn't be getting any water intrusion, okay? So check that. And then conditioning, you can use like Lemon Pledge, to help kind of, it has some, a little bit of oils in it. It'll help condition it. And it smells good, like lemon. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my wife doesn't like me on ladders, so I stole her silicone spatula from the kitchen drawer, duct taped it to a roller rod for a paintbrush, lemon pledge, and slide it right up behind that seal, and it pops right out.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I tried to put it back in the drawer, but she didn't want it.
Yes, sir.
I went to that Breakaway training on Monday.
Yep.
And we talked a lot about the slide systems.
Yep.
And seals, and they recommended you don't need to do anything.
Yeah, really anything. Yeah. Yeah, it's very little maintenance needed on that product, but people are like, I need to condition. Every YouTuber's telling me I gotta condition those things, right? So we're like, hey, okay, if you want to wipe them off, they should be clean. Like if you went through and there's like a whole bunch of dirt on them, when they flip and stuff, it's gonna not be great. So they do need to be cleaned off.
Yeah, their recommendation was just washing with soap and water, and that's all you need.
Yeah. So not a whole lot of maintenance to it. Todd, anything else on that?
Yeah. So yeah, as far as those seals, I just keep them clean on mine, and maybe every once in a while just lightly spray it with some silicone spray.
Okay, so next we'll talk about awnings real quick. Oh, yes, sir.
On those white seals, I've been through 2 sets and my unit, they just tear, middle, top, bottom. I've been through 2 sets on my valve.
Okay, so depending on like your coach, that particular slide and the model, there may be, they react a little different, okay? And you shouldn't be going through along. That might be an adjustment. That could be the installation. But if they're installed properly, and the slide's working properly, you shouldn't be going through them all the time, okay? The bulb seals, if they do slide, they're supposed to be tacked on each end, so they don't slide. And there's usually some sealant on them on the top one, so they don't move, or on the side. So just kind of look at them and just know what it looks like before it's a year later. Okay. The awnings. Let's talk about those. Yes, sir.
Those underneath the top, are there any great ideas on how to get way back in there?
Don't have slide toppers.
Too late.
Sorry. Yeah, too late. Yeah. Yeah.
We have the slide toppers, and when you slide the slides in,
Mhm.
you can see it right all over the whole top of the slide. So you can get like a long wanded vacuum and vacuum them off, or whatever you want to do there. You got access, right?
Yeah. When you pull your slide in, you can clean them and do that, and then put the slide out.
From the inside.
Yeah.
From the inside of the coach, yeah.
But you can't get the outside.
What he was saying with like a rod, like if it's flipped, is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
I know the bead that goes underneath all the way across.
Oh, you might actually have to disconnect your slide topper and to do maintenance. I mean, if you need to redo the silicone or something like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I just take a piece of 1x2 with a rag on the end.
Yeah.
I just wondered if that was
Yeah, that should be fine.
a really great way to do it.
Whatever works, right? Because slide toppers that access getting underneath them, I mean, slide toppers it's a 50-50 conversation on slide toppers. So some you bought them without them, or some with them, and you either love them or you hate them. So okay, let's talk about awnings real quick. There's not a whole lot to the awning. The fabric, you should be washing that and cleaning it periodically. Lippert has a really great video on their site on how to do the process, but essentially it's just a combination of like some of the a quarter cup of dish soap in like 5-gallon bucket, and you unroll the awning out and you clean it from the top side of the coach, and then you roll it up and leave it for about 5 minutes, then unroll it, because when you roll it up, you're getting the detergent on both sides, right? You unroll, then spray it off, and you're kind of done. Okay, so they have a video on their site about how to do that. It's awesome. If you get a little hole in the awning, like an eighth of an inch or smaller, that can be repaired. We do have a repair kit the Alliance carries from from Lippert, so you can order from us if that's the case, if you're out of warranty or whatever. So if you are and something happens that's not, your fault, in that sense, if you pull through and poke it, that's not the awning's fault, right? So awning tape, yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of different options to fix the awning. But what I will say about awning and care is make sure that you don't leave your coach with it. Okay, good. Say it with me. No, say it with me. Yeah, and make sure if you do have it out it's really a shade. Okay, it's really not designed to carry a whole lot of water or anything like that. And if you do have it out in a light rain, make sure you what? Yeah, tip it. Do we know what the tipping it is? Okay. Another thing, if it's windy and you do have a little lighter wind, if you tip both sides together, it'll hold up to the wind a little better. Okay? Because if it's up like this, it's more like sail. If you tip both sides, it kind of angles it down. Okay? And it'll hold up to a little stronger wind if you just want out during the day for shade. Okay? But just make sure it's not beating on the top of a slide when you pull it down that tight. What's that?
Fifth wheel hook.
Fifth wheel hook.
If you know what I'm talking about. A trucker's fifth wheel hook, you can reach right up there and pull down on, because I gotta do the same thing.
Yeah, or I have a little 3-step stool I have around my coach all the time, and I got it. Yes, Phil. What's that, Phil?
The old awning rods.
Yeah. If you have one from a previous coach, hey, all right, you kept something good from it.
I have a question. Do you
Yeah.
have to put them back up before you retract it, or do you
Nope.
retract it with the?
Yeah, they can be tipped either way, and when it tracks, it just goes back to normal. Yep. Did you have a question? Okay.
So you're saying, whatever you do, when you retract it,
Yeah, it just goes. You don't have to do anything. Just retract it.
when it comes out, it's like normal, and then you
Mhm.
tip it.
You can tip either side, and then when you go to track, it just comes back. Yes, do not push it back. And just make sure when you're holding that button, okay, if you get distracted and you're extending it and you start talking, it'll start to roll up the other way.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Okay, and then you get it, and you're like, I'm thoroughly confused. I can't tell you how many, a couple times I've got a phone call, it's like, you guys installed the switch backwards. And I'm like, I'm not saying we didn't, it might be upside down, I don't know, but you probably just held it too long.
Now, those things go out automatically, but if I
No.
grab one in, my awning runs out automatically. But if I grab one in and pull down, it's gonna tip.
What do you mean it runs out automatically?
The awnings are you hit the button and they roll out.
Oh yeah, if you hold the button, yeah.
All right, then when you get them out, you're talking about tipping. I can reach up there and hook it, and it'll
You can pull, yeah.
change the adjustment on one side.
No, you could, the tilt.
The tilt.
Yeah, so if like it was raining, it would go off this side or this side. That's the kind of point you want or you can tip both sides and the rain will go off this way. Off the front. It's like, where do you want the rain to go?
My wife said she was running ours out the other day and let go of the button and it just kept going.
Oh yeah?
It didn't stop, it went, and then stop. Usually when you let go of the button, the engine stops.
Right.
It did a slow roll.
Oh, okay. So it's from California.
Is that the California?
Right? Todd's seen this a couple times as a cop. It was like, oh. Well, we're going to give yours a ticket. And that's kind of interesting. Yeah. We haven't heard
Just
that.
remember with awnings, the general guideline is if you're going to leave for an extended period of time before bed,
Yeah.
put them in. Funny story on this topic real quick. We got an email in our service inbox from somebody. Picture of awning, and this awning's just all jacked up. It said, my awning fell apart. I have some investigation skills, so I'm looking at that picture, looking at it closely, and I'm noticing in the background, there's limbs down, and in the background, leaves all over, and another RV off in distance, and his awning's all jacked up. I was like, okay. So I sent a reply back to him, asked him where he's located, told me, so I get on the internet and see what the weather was like the previous night. Yeah, severe thunderstorm, tornado watch. So I was like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, it only takes that one time when you're walking up to your coach, you're on your side, and you see your awning go whoo, like this. And you're like, I can't talk right now. And then you're trying to roll it up, and it's like not cooperating. Honey, grab the. No, don't do that. Just let it go. We'll figure it out. Okay, let's move along. Believe it or not, we have more probably slides than we do hit time, but so I'll just hit a few things real quick on these. Pin box, there's really not a lot that you need to do with that. Just inspect it. There's some torque values on there. If you want to check those periodically, you can do that. The 7-way plug, you want to be, yes, sir. Depends on your hitch. Like if you don't have one of those grease plates, you might need to grease your hitch, and but not really. But there are some, so I would say consult your owner's manual in that one. Okay. 7-way plug. This thing gets kind of thrown onto the ground a lot, right? And just kind of laying there. When you're done with it, I recommend you rolling it up and either putting it in the back of your kingpin, or using like Moride has a little device that helps to keep it up there, or putting a cap on the end of your 7-way pin, okay, just to keep the gunk out. And if you're plugging in, you're like it's not going in or the thing's not working, maybe look at it, right? The senses. You can get some terminal cleaner. I keep a can of terminal cleaner and just spray it out from time to time, so that helps. The breakaway plug. What does that do? How do you check it? When you pull it when? Are you plugged in? Really? Well, yeah. Right, but the recommend is not plugged in because you've probably disconnected from the truck, right? That cables come out. And then you can kind of just pull it halfway and you should hear the brakes engage. Okay, so you can test it that way. But be careful. I mean, the thing is, that thing, don't yank it so hard where, you break it, but, and also on that, on that cable, some people replace it with like an accordion one or whatever. Hook it to your truck. Don't hook it to the hitch. No, I'm serious. I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad about it, but if your hitch comes away from your truck with the trailer, it's going with it. It's not going to stop because it hasn't disconnected. All right? So hook that to like an eye loop on your truck. So if the hitch comes out somehow, the trailer's going to stop. Okay? Yeah, you might, if it's going, boo, 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 you're like, oh my gosh. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can, so there is when we lay the batting down the front, I mean, there is a way to like get up in there, but I've seen some creative approaches to putting a plate there. So putting some kind of rubber, something in there. Who's done that?
I don't remember the name of the company that makes an outfit, kind of a full rubber padded thing, encloses the whole thing, so it's kind of dual purpose.
Yeah.
Keeps the birds out, plus also can bang your head.
Good. Okay. Oh yeah, and that's another great option because mice and things don't like that. But I've seen birds make great nests out of steel wool. Amazon's your friend.
I took that air-filled plastic wrap and put it in there.
Yeah, there you go.
And if you get a Harbor Freight 6-inch magnetic tray, it's great to put on the side, and you can loop your cable so you can seal that
Boom.
box in.
Take that, Moride, right? No, I'm just kidding.
You don't show the park ranger the pretty birds nesting in the tent of your trailer.
Oh.
They're an endangered species. You'll be sitting there till they can fly.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, guys, let's move on to the. Yeah, yeah.
That I've seen on Facebook that I'm not sure everybody knows. If that pin gets pulled, you're making a really sharp turn to get into it.
Yeah, he just mentioned that. Yeah.
You know, but it gets pulled and it stays out, I think, for 15 seconds or longer. Then, in order to reset everything, you have to put the pin back in, but you also have to disconnect the
Battery.
in your camper to
Yeah.
reset.
It just happened to me last week, I had no problem.
Well,
Put it back in and I
there's a
pulled
certain
in the
amount of
camper.
time that it's out.
It
Will lock up.
So if you put it back in and it doesn't come back, like I said, I think a way you can reset is disconnect. Yeah. That's a great point. The chassis, guys, there's no whole lot of maintenance. If you're in a climate where you get salt or you get road debris, you should be under there with a, maybe a pressure washer or something, making sure it's clean. Okay. There are stuff you can put on chassis. If you see a spot, you can just like brush it off and put some Rust-Oleum paint on it, and just do that. It's just kind of normal care. But fluid film, there's other things that people put under there. And the climates where they go out and it's right on the ocean all the time, they're more prone to those kind of things. So just be aware of that. All the fittings and the gas line fittings are they can react harshly to, salt water and salt air. So just be aware of that. There's not a whole lot to the chassis.
Yeah, for those of you who don't live up north and get the nasty winters like we do, they use that road salt to melt the snow and ice, and it is nasty, extremely corrosive. So the units that we ship out during the winter are exposed to that. Our dealers are asked once they arrive to give them a good cleaning to get that crud off of there before you start seeing some surface rust.
Nothing that we would recommend. I wouldn't spray it right in where there's any holes going through the slides system. So just try to hit the railings and stuff like that. In the running gear, just clean that off. Okay, guys. Leveling systems. So as far as leveling goes, maintenance and things like that, just take care of your jacks. Wipe them down. I wipe them down every time before I retract them, especially if I've had any like a rain and there's some dirt on there, just a little silicone, just wipe the rods down before you retract it. It'll help with those seals. Checking the hydraulic level in your thing. When should I check that? When it's all extended or everything retracted? Yeah. How many times did you get a call, Todd, maybe like, hey, this thing doesn't have any fluid in it? Like, yeah, it shouldn't right now. It should have a lot less fluid in it, right? So yeah, when it's retracted, changing the fluid are like every 5 years. So, thing is, most people don't have their coach for 5 years. Some do, right? But when you start getting into those longer maintenance things, you need to start thinking about changing fluids and stuff like that, okay? All right. Yep. Yeah, so if you sit in a permanent site, I would exercise your slides and your gear periodically. So, and what I mean by that is you might, wind up like hooking up to your truck so you can retract your gear and bring them back down and pull your slides in and out. Yeah. Yeah, periodically. So it will settle a little bit, guys. So if you're at your site for like, say you're wintering in Florida like I did last year, right? And you're in the shower and you're like, is gravity different in Florida? Right? You're like, why is it running this way? Because, a lot of it's like squeegee out the shower, and you can get out in there and look at your panel and like, hey, it's a little nose low. Just hit it a couple times and get it back to where you want it. Yes? Okay. Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is if you don't use the systems, you should probably exercise them periodically, at least maybe once a year, say, hey, guess what? Today's the day. We're going to hook up that truck or, and pull up the gear and, just got to make sure it still works. Because if, it is there in Florida, and I don't know if you would leave it if you knew a hurricane was coming or not, but, it is mobile, so maybe it'd be helpful. So, yes.
Is there something wrong with retracting all the jacks with it not hitched up? And mine's done it in failure mode, right? So, I mean, the nose just goes to the ground, and then you just...
Well, yeah, I mean...
It's not like you have to.
Yeah,
Doesn't look pretty.
well, I mean, technically he's right. I mean, you can pull up your rear gear. It's just going to look like this, like it's a lowrider. And they do sit in the yard sometimes. It will go down. It's not going to, the cap should not, on a level thing, hit the ground.
Get you some 6x6 blocks or something like that.
Yeah, you can do that.
If you don't want to hook it up and let it come to the front.
Yeah, see?
Jack stands, then you can move.
I move a lot, so it's never an issue. But yeah, if you want to do that, did you guys?
Answer to his question over there that I think I was going to suggest is just get some blocks to put under the framing and move your jacks up and down.
Yeah.
Is that critical with electric landing gear?
Not as much, but do you have an avenue? Yeah, it's not quite as critical with the electric ones. Just like generator, it's not as critical with LP versus gas. Yeah. Yes, I would do that. Let's try to get a few of these things here, guys. Suspension. There's a lot of we talk a lot about suspension. Facebook groups. Everybody's like it's kind of goes in these things. Todd, you probably have heard this. People are like, "Hey, my U-bolts!" Right? We put out a torque spec guide. Dexter recommends that you check your torques and stuff like every 3,000 miles. So it's something to get in the habit of doing. Okay, so make sure you have the right equipment to check them. Check your tires, lubing them correctly, having the right Zerk fitting, the right lube to hit those things. So it's really not a lot of work, but once you do it a few times, it's like, yeah, no problem, right? And you can just inspecting that gear, that landing gear, though, is very important. So I do it whenever I hook up to the truck and I'm going somewhere. Whenever I stop, I do a walk around every time. I look under it. I look at the condition of the springs. I look at the tires. I kind of feel them. I have a TPMS, right? So I can see the tire pressure and temperature, but I also kind of feel things to see, when you stop for fuel or just to rest. So, yeah, your hand up. What do you mean, the torque specs? Yeah. Yeah. Now, somebody said that I might have got that wrong with the size of the socket, but it's like 70, 80 pounds on the U-bolt itself. And then the suspension shackles, like these bolts here, and the eye bolts are like 40 pounds of torque. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Tire, that's suspensions. Wheels, tires, and brakes. You guys inspect tires on your vehicles before? You don't really think about it. It's a little more inspecting them on here. Who got weighed? Okay. Did they tell you your inflations are all wrong? Yeah. Okay. So that is one of the things. So as a manufacturer or the tire, okay, those are really detailed charts, and those are awesome. Okay, that they have available to you. We don't have access to those, so we can only say follow what's on the tire. So if you've heard 110 cold, that's why we say that. But if you have, depending on your weight, because a really stiff tire and a light coach is going to bounce a lot. Okay, so the heavier you are, you start changing those tire pressures. Okay, so that is a great service, and you should probably listen to those inflation recommendations. Okay.
And related to that topic,
yeah.
When loading all your gear into your trailer, try to distribute the weight as evenly as possible so you're not favoring one side to the other, front to back. It's just gonna help it overall as far as tire wear and suspension to get that weight evenly distributed as much as you can.
Okay, so Lippard's coming in here at 10:15, so we're gonna try to breeze through here. We talked about checking your brakes, checking your tires for wear. Interior, there's not a whole lot. It's pretty much like your house, right? Countertops, the floors, really the same. Okay, don't put hot things on your countertops. 155 degrees is kind of like that limit before you start seeing spots. All right. Other systems, air conditioning. We recommend that you do a servicing on your air conditioner at least probably once a year, especially if you use it a lot. That means getting up there, either if you or somebody else to clean the coils, doing that kind of thing. Make sure you change or clean the filters. Okay, if you came to aerosols thing, the filters, that's a big deal. It'll really help it run efficiently. The furnace also, making sure when you look in there that there's no bunch of debris or anything covering the air exchange vents, and that the hoses are not disconnected and are installed properly. Yes, sir.
Can you blow that out with the cover on there, or do you need to remove the cover?
You need to go from the backside. You know, you can't do it from the front.
Well, I know, but in the vent shroud, you have to pull the cover off.
Are we talking about the air conditioner? Yeah, the air conditioner, you got to take it off. It's 4 screws. Yeah, it's a piece of cake. Yep. And then on the MaxxAir fans, just you could take those filters. You know, there's 4 things you can just turn, and you can pull the screen down, because all of our screens look perfect from the factory right now, right? You're like, you get them, they're the vacuum cleaner, and, you know, just stuff. You can take them right out and wash them, and they look great. And you actually take an Allen screw and take the fan down and wash that as well. And then that's a great opportunity to get up there with your step stool, clean it all out, right? Then you put it back together, and you're like, that looks awesome. Plumbing, here we have a class that we were teaching about that, but plumbing systems don't really need too much. You might need to sanitize them from time to time, of course, winterizing. Your water heater, changing the anode rod, cleaning that out once, or twice a year, depending on your usage and the content of the water. Like I said, these slides, guys, are going to be available. All those little things are detailed there, so if I feel like I'm running through here, I apologize. Holding tanks, flushing them out, your black tanks, make sure that they're using the conditioner. You guys use stuff in your tanks for putting them in there? Okay, everybody has a little different way to do it.
What's a good product for your sensors?
Talk to your fellow allies. I can't really recommend one over the other, but there are a lot of great products out there. We have a vendor right here in the hall.
I was just gonna say, go talk to that guy.
Yeah, he cleans them for a living, so he probably knows.
I'll tell you what, the solution that he uses, the pine sol and the calgon,
Yeah, it keeps those sensors clean, right?
well, I don't know, my black tank sensors haven't worked since the day we picked it up.
Yay! Part of the club, right?
Yeah.
Okay, electrical systems, guys, if you have a regular battery, make sure, just like your car, that you check the battery and the battery levels. Most of these today are maintenance free, so that's not really too much of a concern.
Real quick, lithium batteries. This is
Yeah.
big. We're getting calls almost daily on this. Lithium batteries do not like cold weather. When the internal temperature of a lithium battery gets below 32 degrees, it will not accept a charge. So this you were running into now with dealers up north and owners up north who left them out all winter, and where the outside temperature has been below 32 degrees for days, weeks,
I had solar. Why is this
sometimes
charging?
months. Yeah, exactly. Well, I have my solar panels. They should have kept my batteries charged. Not if it's below 32 degrees. And then the parasitic drains those batteries, and the internal battery monitor, when voltage gets too low, it will shut off. And once it shuts off, that battery is done. It has to be returned to Renogy, who will take it apart and recharge every lithium cell to power the battery back up. So they can be revived, but at this point, it's only done at the Renogy here in Elkhart. So be very careful with your batteries in the winter. Take them out, put them somewhere warm, give them a periodic charge throughout the winter.
Thanks, Todd. Propane, guys, make sure your propane's full. There's not a whole lot there. Check your sensor, make sure that light's on. Yes, sir. We have a diagram thing that talks all about the operation of the automatic changeover. It's in the file section of the RV of the group, and I'll tell you right after. But basically, it's pretty straightforward. But I will explain it after.
Can you come up with a new clamp system?
Yes, right.
A new clamp system. Oh yeah. Okay, I got you. So I'm not even going to go over tools and supplies, guys. You carry it there. It's going to be in the presentation. You basically need to have some tools. Okay, that's the bottom line, right? You need cleaning supplies. You need things to fix stuff. Okay, who has a multimeter, a voltmeter? Okay, every hand should be going up. Okay, because if you call Jim Bonacci, one of the first things he's going to say is, "Where's your multimeter?" Right? If it's an electrical problem. Okay, so have a toolkit. There's a recommendation of things on here to have that you can look up later. Fuses, duct tape, of course. Who doesn't need duct tape, right? Your slide seals. Okay, so the bottom line is, guys, ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask your fellow allies about how or ask us about how to take care of your coach. We'll do the presentation quicker, faster, better. But I like this because it's a conversation. Everybody gets to kind of chime in a little bit. So thanks for coming. If you have any questions, let us know. Appreciate it.